Now we will study the different organs of the United Nations. The United Nations have 6 main organs: the General Assembly, the Security Council, the Economic and Social Council, the Trusteeship Council, the International Court of Justice, and the Secretariat. So one by one we will deal all these organ of the United Nations. So first we will deal with, did you know, the United Nations headquarters consist of several buildings along the East River in the New York City. So the headquarters of the United Nations, which is in the New York City, they have several buildings along the East River in the New York City. On the ground of the United Nations headquarters stand this sculpture, that is, let us beat sword into plowshare, sculpted by the Russian sculptor Yevgeny Yuvchetich, and it expresses the main goal of the United Nations. So on the ground of the United Nations headquarters, a sculpture is there, and it is sculpted by the Russian sculptor. The name of the sculpture is Yevgeny Yuvchetich, and you can say the sculpture expresses the main goal of the United Nations. Now we will study about the General Assembly. All the members of the United Nations are members of the General Assembly. Each member nation can send up to the 5 representatives, but they are entitled to 1 vote per nation. So whoever is the member of the General Assembly, they can send 5 representatives, but they are entitled to 1 vote per nation. So these 5 representative will count as a 1 vote per nation. The General Assembly meets once a year, but special session can be held during times of the crisis. So the General Assembly, they met only once in a year, but if there is any emergency, they can meet twice in or you can say according to the situation. Some of the important functions of the General Assemblies are to discuss international problems and make recommendation of their solution. So if there is some international problems, just like at present we have COVID-19, okay, so whoever is a member of the United Nations, they can sit together and they can discuss about the international problem, that is COVID-19, and they can make different kinds of suggestion so that they can solve this problem. To make recommendation for the peaceful settlement of the dispute, if there is a war in any part of the world, just like in at present we have war between India and China near the Ladakh region, right? So India is a member of the United Nations, so they can go to the United Nations headquarters and they can you can say discuss about the matter, and at the end they can resolve the matter in a peaceful way. To consider and approve the United Nations budget. So in order to run any administration, we need certain amount of money. So it is a duty of the General Assembly to you can say make you can say draft, or you can say rough sketch, that how a United Nation will require certain amount of money. To elect non-permanent members of the Security Council, member of the Economic and Social Council, and the Trusteeship Council. So the non-permanent members of these council, or you can say these organ of the United Nations, will be elected by whom? By the General Assembly, to supervise the work of the other organs of the United Nations. So the other 5 organs of the United Nations, the General Assembly will supervise their work, and they will look after the other organs of the United Nations. To make recommendation for collective measures, including the use of armed force during a crisis, uniting for peace resolution. So it is a duty of the General Assembly to recommend for a collective measure, that means whether to use armed force in any emergency or not. Armed force means weapons, gun, okay, so that they can maintain peace resolution without using the armed force. All decisions are generally taken by a simple majority vote, and in some important cases by 2/3 majority vote. So whether the decision will be approved or not. They are generally done by a simple majority, but if the, or you can say, if there are some certain you can say emergency issue, so, or you can say there's some important cases, they use as a 2/3 majority vote, so that they can find a solution for any problem.